Welcome to our live demo of the Entity.global platform. As some of you probably already know, Entity is a growth engine for the Multiverse X ecosystem, offering services to retail investors and blockchain startups alike. Today, Michael Steven, product owner at Entity, will guide you through the Entity Launchpad and give you some insights about the latest modules that are currently being worked on by our development team. Welcome back to the stage, Michael. The stage is yours.
Thank you, David, and excited to be here and to showcase what Entity is capable of and what would it be capable of into the future. So I would suggest let's jump right in. I would share my screen and then we can explore together what Entity is capable of doing. So just to start off real quick, we have the main page where you will be able to explore what Entity is about and what we are looking forward in doing and how we are going to help the Multiverse X ecosystem grow and the whole Web3 space grow. So we have a section about why Entity, and we explained what are the pain points of not only Multiverse X ecosystem, but in general, all crypto ecosystems have this kind of set of pain points. And we try to cater to two main groups, particularly startups and retail investors. But we expanded to investors of any kind. And when it comes to startups, we do have a list of already existing features. We start with the project monitor. And I would like to dive right into it. And here we can see that the project monitor compiles all the major startups building on Multiverse X and provides key information such as tokenomics and token utilities, important documentation and structures, dates and timelines. And the project monitor is the first step that any startup can undertake to start integrating with Entity, while also receiving exposure to the thousands of Multiverse X investors. And being listed on the Entity Project Monitor has additional benefits for projects, including opportunities to synergize and to further integrate with Entity's other modules. It offers concrete feedback from our research team on how to improve your startup, and it has potential access to the Entity Launchpad. So as you can see here, we went quite extensively to a lot of the projects existing in the Multiverse X ecosystem, and we are still doing so. We are still updating a lot of the projects and trying to keep up with their updates. But if you have a project, we encourage you to list your project, to apply to the project monitor to be reviewed by our dedicated research team. Now going a bit into how can you list your project. Here it is the section where you can list your project. I'm already connected with my wallet. You'll need a wallet in order to list your project, so that this is a first filtering system that you are part of the ecosystem and you can't just list any type of project just for the marketing exposure. And I will have a quick example to go through so that I can showcase how what type of data we require and how we plan to showcase your project inside the project monitor. So let me quickly get the data, and then we can start filling out the fields really quickly and go over through everything. So let's start by introducing the project name, and my name. I have my name here, and I have an email address that I can use. For example, this one, position, a country, project model, and that we can utilize here, and many more things. But let's just drop real quick to the project summary. Let's quickly go over everything. so that we can move fast. So basically, the first set of information is a quick display or go through the project name, the name of the representative, the email address, position, countries, a logo. We require from all the projects to have this logo, project summary, target audience, and here we can say DeFi, for example, GreenFi, and NFT, and we can have custom inputs here on the token utility, and we can also just quickly give some bullet points on how the utility can work, and we can advance to the next step. Of course, we also want to apply for the Entity Launchpad. And next, there is a very extensive list of the type of data that pertains to the token economics and the token sales. Now, I won't go and offer extensive examples here. Any project owner can go and explore this, and it's very granular. It covers all the informations that are necessary for investors to do the due diligence. I'll fill the name of the token and a max token supply, as these are the required parts. And then we can advance to the next step and the public sale, of course. And then we have a website link that we can fill, and that is required. And we can also have a Twitter profile as well. Those are the minimum information required for any project. And then, of course, there can be further that can be put in here. Now we have the information successfully on the screen, and you have your project in here waiting to be approved and reviewed by the entity team. Now, moving on to the Launchpad section, we do have quite an extensive process here. So I will go and summarize it very quickly. We have inside our knowledge base offered an overview on what are the steps required for any project to list and to be eligible for the Entity Launchpad. But just to go over a few, one of the most important criteria for us is a strong team and dedicated team. It has to be publicly known, so we do not support anonymous teams, and we want to encourage people to have as much exposure, skin in the game, so to say, by actually going all in and being dedicated to their project. And the next criteria is an MVP. We all know that ICO era with only white paper project is gone. So now it is mandatory to have an MVP to be able to be considered. We also need to have a strong legal base and a strong company structure with a strong business model. And going into the business model, we would like to see strong tokenomics and token utilities. As we all know, regulations are coming, so it can no longer be or just have a simple project that tries to have mechanisms that resembles some part of traditional finance, because those will be considered securities and you'll not be approved to go forward. And just to go over the Launchpad page, everything that the project would have in terms of information will be summarized and showcased here in the Launchpad subpages. And you can explore at a glance key metrics, the launch roadmap, and the stage that the project is in. And then you can do your due diligence extensively as an investor by opening the cards and by understanding what the project is about, their key metrics that relate to the tokenomics, and how the allocations of the tokens are being split and funds spent. Then understand who the team are and links towards verifying the team's credentials. And then on the investment side, you can understand the whole tokenomics and what would on all the details that an investor needs in order to be able to create a strategy for investing. Now, going a bit on the investor side, we do have a wide range of tools, as you can see, And we start with the discover phase, which is first of all, it goes back to the project monitor, as we have explored, and we start with this quite extensive table that gives you at a glance the projects that we reviewed and extensive information about the most important important elements that you need to take into consideration when investing, like has the project started the public sale? Do they require to do KYC? When is the listing? Has it been already listed? What is the total token supply at a glance, the public sale price, and the launchpad it was originally sold on? And then you will also have an interesting dynamic. We'll have a rating that is done by the entity research team. And if we go on an example here, we can see that we have everything laid down transparently. So all the methodology behind the rating score is publicly available for all the users to check and to see that objectively we have analyzed a project and we have come to the conclusion on a broad set of topics like team, product, tokenomics, business. And then once the score is comprised of, we have a final rating that is showcased here, and alongside with it, a project can be supported by its community through voting. And we think this is a powerful feature because the community sometimes is very excited about the project, even though the project is in its early stages, so that it might not score a high rating on the project monitor, but with the right support, it can slowly improve and slowly attract more people to come and to push the project to reach a certain state that it continuously evolves and reaches a higher and higher score that it really deserves. Yeah? So we encourage everyone to go on the page and support your project. Now, for every investors out there, we know time is critical. So that's why we have everything at a glance here about a certain project, starting with the project summary, with some key metrics, the target audiences, so that you know from the beginning to which categories these projects are addressing to, and the token utilities, again, at a glance, very structured. And then at the end, there is the entity review. So this is kind of our own contribution, making it into a short conclusion, and that highlights the strengths and weaknesses of each project. And just to mention, we continuously update these reviews and try to keep the project monitor up to date, but we would like your support, and in the future, we would definitely implement a method that the community can get more involved with in regards to analyzing projects with a project monitor. Now, going back to the Launchpad itself, as I said, as an investor, you can do all your due diligence. And here on this page, we'll have summaries of all the Launchpad projects. And we will be able to see them here in all the chronological order, all the projects that have been available on Entity Launchpad. Then we'll move on to the Invest section, which will be available fairly soon. And I will deep dive into the modules a bit later. But just to highlight them, eGold and ESDT module would kind of offer a structured view of the whole ESDT market, and you'll be able to access it from one click away. And the liquid diversification marketplace, it will be a product that will enable startups to do subsequent token sales to the community to diversify their treasuries, and for the investors to diversify their portfolios with opportunities or discounted opportunities. But more on that later. Now going into the Earn section, we all love staking. So to deep dive here a bit, we all know that doing due diligence on staking, most of the time we just look at the APR because that's what attracts us in the beginning. But we think that here at Entity, we think that's more to it than simply the APR. We also want to take all the data into consideration to be able to help all the investors make appropriate decisions. So moving on to the staking dashboard, staking provider metrics, we see here all the staking providers arranged, and then we can see their APRs, but also their fees to know which one is the most efficient and takes the less fees. Then we see the amount of delegators. So we see how many people actually trust the staking provider, how much total e-gold has in staking, how much rewards has it given, how much nodes, and the delegation cap, and how much e-gold is actually available, so that you can immediately also from this own dashboard, you can immediately go and stake your e-gold without leaving Entity. So you can just do your own research here, stake, and after you have staken, you can jump right into delegation metrics and see your delegation structure here, your own e-gold rewards, and all the info available. Yeah, and you have to connect the wallet to be able to pull all the data, and you'll be seeing here historical data about your delegation. Now, moving on into the monitor section, here you can monitor your whole portfolio. You can see the whole value of your wallet, how much e-gold, how many tokens, how much is staked, and how much you have in farms, how much you have to claim, how much you have in undelegated, how much you have in legacy staking. And you can also see at a glance your USDT tokens, fungible tokens, and also non-fungible tokens. Yeah. And if you jump off, you can see all the NFTs available at a glance, and then you can even interact with them and go and research them and expand them on the Explorer. We also have the tax tools, which you can utilize to generate a comprehensive tax report that then you can go to your tax accountant, to your advisors, or you can even do it yourself with tools like Coinly, which we have an integration with, that you can just plug in the data that you have here, and you can have everything at a glance structured based on different categories on which you can generate a tax report that can be then put in a CSV format, and then with which you can use all sorts of tools to do your tax reporting to the authorities. Now, going a bit into what is next for Entity, would like to make you a short walkthrough to the whole tools that will be available fairly soon on Entity as both on-chain and off-chain. So jumping into a presentation here, I would like to quickly showcase you what we have in the pipeline at Entity. So we would like to go into the product overview, and what you would see is a highlight of the Launchpad and how it works currently, and how you'll be able to also utilize it once the first Launchpad project is announced and started. Then a highlight of the LDM as a user preview, as and as an admin preview. Then we have an overview of the interface of the staking farms and the multiple farm interface that goes a bit more into detail. So let's jump in. We have the Launchpad as the funding engine of the whole Entity ecosystem. And just to get into how it works, it has a very similar structure to X Launchpad or My Launchpad, as it was previously known. And you'll be able to, once you start, feel right at home with the process. So the first is, of course, complete the KYC process. We ensure compliance on the highest standards. So we use the OnFido as a KYC provider, but in the future, we plan to upgrade our KYC offering to include in-house KYC, so that we will be able to have KYC persist through the projects. And once you've KYC'd your account, you'll be able to participate in multiple Launchpad projects. But the first step would be to select your KYC options. This is split into two, regular or enhanced, depending on how much you invest. After you have passed the KYC process, comes the snapshotting process. We ensure a fair and distributed access with e-gold staking. That will be the process that we will be using in the first Launchpad project. So we'll have snapshots of e-gold, of stake e-gold, and we'll be dividing users in tiers based on the amount that they have staked. The next phase is the buying the ticket. You'll be acquiring lottery tickets on the Entity Launchpad. Again, will be done with e-gold, and in the future, we will add other options as well. And moving on to the last phase, it will be the claim tokens phase. You'll be redeeming the winning lottery tickets and your e-gold for the unlucky tickets back. And that will conclude the Launchpad sale process that you'll be going through for each of the Entity Launchpads. So this is a fairly similar process and very straightforward, and we will be looking forward to see you all participate in the first Entity Launchpad project. Now moving on to present the liquidity diversification marketplace. We found an issue here into the multiverse ecosystem, but also beyond, is that a lot of the project's treasuries are passive. They just sit on a lot of e-gold or stables and a lot of their own tokens, and they do not diversify their treasury, or they empower their communities to do more and to kind of engage them post the initial sale. It's just a process of maybe doing some marketing activities, and that's kind of what is limited to. But we want to introduce a decentralized module that utilizes a smart contract, a marketplace smart contract, to enable projects to put to sale a certain amount of tokens, often their own token, for sale, and acquire from the users whatever ESDT tokens they like, including but not limited to LP tokens, SFTs, NFTs, whatever it's in your mind and is within the boundaries of ESDT standard, you can acquire it as a project. And for the users, they will be getting tokens with a certain discount. So they'll be able to benefit from the structure and diversify their portfolios at a very good price entry. And also they will be subjected to a small block. And we have on top of that built the LDM vault, which will ensure that there is no continuous loop of buying discounted tokens, selling them on the open market, and just profiting off this loop to increase your holdings in a malicious way, but ensures a smooth transition and a long-term aligned behavior. Yeah. And let's dive right into it. This is the user preview of the discounted sale order book. You'll be able to see all the sales here that will be available, all the data about it, the amount being sold, the approximate value of the amount being sold, the actual sell price, the actual market price, the amount of discount, and what we will even track what is the current discount, because markets fluctuate. So by the time a sale starts and ends, the discount fluctuates as well. And then moving on to the admin preview, we have the management sale interface. Here as a project owner, but it's not limited to only project owners. It can be actors like investors or VCs that want to kind of explore opportunities within the markets, or just simply diversify their portfolios away, and they want to offer it in a structured manner and in a non-invasive manner, so that they don't have to just sell it on the open market and generate a lot of disturbance. They can use this platform as well to create a sale with a certain discount, a certain durations, and they have full control of how much they want to raise, how long it takes. They can even stop the sale mid-process or mid-duration, and they can even remove the whole offer and claim whatever was being sold or being bought, and then have the rest being distributed back to their originating wallet that created the sale. I want to go into a future development tool, but before that, we want to mention that the LDM will be fairly soon available for public testing. We are working round the clock to make it to release it on the DevNet and to have a Battle of Yields event for the community to properly test it with incentives and rewards. Now moving on to the staking farms, I want to quickly present the tool that is it's meant for projects to align long-term visions with their users. So it allows projects to not only have users lock tokens or LP tokens in exchange for rewards in the same token, but it allows, for example, incentivization cross project. So if you create a farm for project X with project X token rewards, and another project Y creates another farm, you'll be able to offer cross rewards and have double rewards, double farms, triple farms, so that you can create partnerships in this way. And we are looking very much forward to see those partnerships in effect. Here we see a multi-farm interface. You can see this is an example with a lot of tokens, and you'll see all the data that you need as a user right there on the cards. The amount, the farm details, but also your own staked tokens details. So you'll see what's in the farm overall locked, and what you have as a user personally locked in, and what are your rewards accrued in those farms. So these are the products that will be coming fairly soon. We all think that DeFi summer is already here, and we want to make it even hotter. So expect a lot of updates from us in the upcoming months. And I would like to conclude by saying that Entity has been pushing for the past months really hard to make all our products available on the MultiverseX mainnet, and to help push the ecosystem as far and wide as possible. We have our doors open for partnerships and for collaborations. So please reach out to us through the official website or to our social media accounts, and let's build together the Multiverse ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mihai, for your very interesting insights and updates on the Entity Launchpad and all the other modules which are coming in the month ahead. Let's now change rooms and jump to the last panel discussion for today. See you there in a few minutes.